This is an emergency alert. Military bases are now on lockdown, and they're saying, quote, sabotage is happening right now. We are also getting warnings that the water is not safe to drink, and they're even saying the water is being sabotaged. And we are also having people inside the United States getting sick from drinking the water as well. So let's dive into all the details here really quick. Please just hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news. All right, so lots of big stories going on. We also have another report of viruses showing up in the water. Right, they're now saying, hey, it's in the water, it's showing up, it's spreading too. Right, we'll get to that in just a second too. But it is now being reported that NATO military bases are on lockdown. And they're saying this is due to sabotage that's happening to the water lines and the water systems. Right? So this is big because this could happen at a moment's notice. Right? And they're saying that tens of thousands of people in the surrounding areas are being affected as well. They're telling people do not drink the water, do not use the water, and this warning is going out saying it's, quote, sabotage. So potentially somebody from the inside is doing this as well. All right, so let's get into the details here, guys. We also have people getting sick in New Hampshire, right? People are getting sick from drinking the water. In New Hampshire, we have 5 people being reported with Legionnaire's disease. Right? They're saying that the water in New Hampshire is being affected. Right? And people in Lincoln, New Hampshire keep getting sick. We're also getting reports that they're telling us that this new Mpox, okay, aka the monkeypox, is inside of California wastewater. Okay, that's now what's being reported. They're saying that the virus has been detected in San Francisco wastewater after the disease was declared a, quote, public health emergency of international concern by the WHO. It says the wastewater scan dashboard, a public health tool used to monitor infectious diseases within communities, shows that Mpox was detected in southeast San Francisco on July 26th, August 11th, and August 12th. Okay, and it also says it's important to note that it's not clear whether these detections come from human sources. All right, so I'm not sure what that means. Maybe there's animals that have this, but they're pushing this idea again that it's in the water now too. People are getting sick from Legionnaire's disease as well in New Hampshire, and now we have, quote, sabotage going on at NATO bases, and they're telling people do not drink the water. Tens of thousands of people in surrounding areas, and this is happening at 2 different NATO bases at once. Right? So it says NATO bases closed over suspicion of water supply sabotage. It says a German military base near the western city of Cologne was temporarily closed on Wednesday as authorities investigated the possible sabotage of water supplies. The Cologne One barracks employs around 5,500 people, 4,300 soldiers, and 1,200 civilians. All right. And they said, in addition, the barracks were closed because it could not be ruled out at the time that the person was still on the premises. However, the perpetrator was not found despite, quote, an intensive search. So they're saying this person's even on the premises still, and they locked down the barracks too. So major security breach that's happening. This happened to 2 different NATO bases within 24 hours, okay? And they shut down all the water and telling people do not drink it, do not use it, right? And they said, quote, we are taking this incident very seriously. Police, military police, and military counterintelligence services are investigating. Also on Wednesday, the security level at a NATO airbase in the western German town of Geilenkirchen was raised due to a suspected case of sabotage and a similar incident to that of the Cologne base, Reuters reported. Okay? So they even raised the alert level at this Gillenkirchen base as well. So multiple different NATO bases have been sabotaged in the past 48 hours. Okay? And their water systems have been turned off. So if a military base, a NATO military base, can be sabotaged, that means your water systems can be sabotaged. And they actually have been sabotaged multiple times over the past 6 months to a year now. We've seen cyber attack after cyber attack and event after event. And water systems in Ohio, Pennsylvania, all over the Midwest were getting hit from these cyber attacks 6 months ago, earlier in the year. Okay, and they were having their water systems taken offline. And NATO is pointing the finger at Russia. Okay, they are saying that Russia is causing these sabotage attacks, whether they are or not. They're also letting in millions of people unvetted into their country as well that do not have the best interests and are potentially sabotaging things as well. Okay, it says it's unclear who entered the Cologne barracks. Wednesday's incident comes amid heightened concerns that Russia could be carrying out sabotage attacks across Europe. In May, NATO said it was, quote, deeply concerned about recent malign activities by Moscow. The statement pointed to a potential, quote, sabotage, acts of violence, cyber and electronic interference, disinformation campaigns, and other hybrid operations. Okay, so NATO is warning that we could see all of these events happen inside of Europe and more destabilization, and we could also see these things happen inside the US as well too, right? We are getting close and having very similar situations happen here, okay? With immigration, with war, with supply chain issues, energy prices. We are experiencing very similar issues as Europe, right? So as Europe goes, the US is most likely going to follow a similar path, right? So be on high alert for any types of these, quote, sabotage attacks as well. And we could see people even on the inside, okay? It seems like they were kind of insinuating that they're like, we don't even know who's doing this. How did anyone even get in here to do this, okay? Are they still here? They were saying that they were still searching for a suspect and they weren't sure if they were on the grounds or not. All right, so there could be somebody on the inside. We are at that point. Okay, our countries have sadly become compromised. And there are potentially people on the inside that are sabotaging, that are implementing plans that are not for the best of our countries. That's the only thing that makes sense at this point. Okay, and even the military is, it seems like, on high alert for this. Okay, maybe they know there's something going on within their ranks, right? They're shutting down the barracks at both of these military bases. Strange, right? They're raising the threat level alert. Okay, this is not normal. They wouldn't just do this over nothing, right? They were probably suspecting potentially somebody, maybe even on the inside, that are pulling the strings. So make sure you guys are prepped, ready, have your stockpiles ready to go, right? Have your water tanks filled up, okay? And have ways to purify your water too if it ever hits the fan, okay? Have water filters, okay? I have multiple different water filters, Life Straw, Sawyer Mini little filter. It's like almost the same thing as a Life Straw. And I've used that thing a bunch, right? Drinking out of creeks on hikes and stuff like that because it's a little bit smaller than the Life Straw, so it's easier to carry around. And I've used that thing a bunch, right? Drinking out of creeks, drinking out of streams and things like that. and it has a bag and things like that, but I'll literally just lay on the ground and it has a straw on it and just drink right out of it, right? So have these things. They're useful even just for hiking and stuff like that, and going outdoors. And if it ever hits the fan too, then you have it, right? And if you already have water, you need to purify your water. Look into things like iodine tablets as well to purify your water, right? So you don't get sick. You don't get Legionnaire's disease. They're saying 5 people in New Hampshire, in this one town, are getting Legionnaire's disease, and they're saying that they think the water supply is contaminated, right? So you think that you can trust this is in Lincoln, New Hampshire, you think that you can trust your local government to give you fresh, clean tap water, but you really can't, sadly, right? You should be able to, but a lot of places nobody really cares. Nobody's watching. Things are nasty. Things are dirty. Things are not up to par, right? The piping and for the towns are old, nasty. Okay, think of all these towns like Flint, Michigan. Everyone's heard of this, where the water is just brown and nasty. That happens to a lot more towns than you think. A lot of these rural towns, a lot of them don't have good water. Okay, their water systems are old. They were built with cast iron piping 100 years ago, okay? And they're all rusting out, rotting out. Bunch of junk in the water. Bunch of stuff growing in it, right? And that's what's happening. And the saddest thing too is that we should have built back our country with the trillions of dollars. Remember Build Back Better? Okay, remember that? The money's gone, but nothing was built. The money's gone. At least if the money was spent, it's like, all right, I guess we have to spend this money. At least give us something for it. Nothing was restored. None of the roads, none of the airports, none of the infrastructure, water systems, the power grid, everything is falling apart, guys. Right? All these things are on their last leg. They're not going to make it another decade, 20 years. These things are not going to make it. Okay, and trillions and trillions of dollars squandered when we should be revitalizing our infrastructure and making it more secure, less vulnerable to these sabotage attacks. And they think at this base it was a physical sabotage attack. So they think that somebody physically, they were saying that there were a bunch of holes and tunnels dug to the water pipes, right? They're not sure exactly what was going on. They're trying to figure it out. But they were saying that there were like underground tunnels dug to the main pipes, like from the outside or something, okay? The article really wasn't like describing it well. I couldn't get a clear picture. I don't know if it's because they were like translating it, from German or something, but I couldn't get a clear picture. But they were saying that there were holes and like tunnels going to the water pipes, like people trying to get access to the water pipes from externally and like do something to them, either like break them or put something in them, right? So they were even saying it was a physical attack as well on this infrastructure, much less a cyber attack, right? But our stuff is completely vulnerable, right? Just last year, or I guess this was almost 2 years ago now. Time just goes by so quick, but there was a lot of sabotage on the power grid inside the United States. You remember that? It's like just memory hold. There were people firing at the power grids in North Carolina. Okay, tens of thousands of people lost their power from that. There was sabotage in Seattle, Washington on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve in 2022. Okay, I made a whole video on it. People were going around smashing the substations and the electrical grid. Or I think it was Tacoma, Washington. Sorry about that. I think it was Tacoma. But people were going around smashing the substations in the middle of the night and caused mass power outages there. Okay, there was also blackouts, rolling blackouts as well. Then too from Duke Energy that was happening on Christmas too. It was a wild Christmas in 2022, right? There was a lot of stuff going on with the power grid. And our grid isn't any better. It's still completely vulnerable. It's in the same state that it was then. People can still attack it. There could still be cyber attacks. It could still be overwhelmed physically just from pure power draw, right? Because everyone's got their heaters running in the middle of winter or in the middle of summer. Everyone's got their AC going. Okay, so get yourself off grid as much as possible. All right, get a well if you can get one. We're on a well here. Get a generator if you can get one. We got a generator. Get some solar if you can get one. Right, we need to get some solar. We have like a little solar thing, but we don't have big solar generating capacity. Okay, get these things going right now. Get some water tanks. Get some gas tanks. Get yourself filled up and ready to go, because they're attacking military bases right now, and it's the same water system as the whole town. So both of these bases, the entire town surrounding them, everyone's out of water too. Okay, they were saying one of these towns, it was almost like 40,000 people. Okay, surrounding areas that were without water. Okay, so get yourself prepared. Please hit it up for me down there. I appreciate that, guys. It helps get these warnings out. Hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.